Hi, I'm Juanita and welcome back to the Knit Guru, and if you think I've moved into my house, you would be wrong. Today, however, is a seriously hot day. I think it's going to be something like 30 degrees. Rocky is clearly trying to find the biscuit that's up here for him. So I will pass it to him now. This is my everything that I knit and crochet in the month of December video. And you'll be saying to yourself, Juanita, you have a lot of time off over December. You've probably got a lot done. No, I have not got a lot done. I had a lot of plans. I have not got a lot done at all. What should we start with? Let's start with the things that I do not have here that I am pleased that I got done. So, as I'm famous for forgetting to actually include these, I will insert a picture. Okay, we really need carpet because the sounds of the little tippy taps on the wooden floor. Yeah, I am sitting beneath where the AC unit is going to go. I am in the dining room, at the dining room table, because we brought it in for Christmas. There is no electricity in here. There is no plumbing in here. I'm about to spend some more time painting in my laundry today so that my laundry can be installed. However, that is what I digress for. Over here, we've got some reindeer. Now, the reindeer, I had planned to make about 5 different reindeer. The plan was to make one for my youngest nephew, one for my youngest niece, one for my sister, one for one of my best friend's partners, and one for myself. And I figured by the time I did 5, I would have a really great reindeer pattern to release right before Christmas that people could whip up as a last-minute Christmas gift. I made 2. And both of them were pushing it. Like, I had to take time out of painting in order to make them. The one for my nephew had to be made earlier. I'd forgotten about that because it had to go in the post to get down to him at Christchurch. And then the one for my niece, I made on the morning of our Christmas celebration, the one that we had with her, because we ended up having Christmas with her earlier than actual Christmas. So I thought I had heaps of time between Christmas with her and actual Christmas, but it turns out no, I didn't, because then we had the idea of having Christmas dinner in the living room, which meant I needed to paint it all, and we had to empty it all out. So there's that. So I did manage to make 2 reindeer. If you are a long-time viewer, you'll know that every year I make Christmas socks for the family, which aren't really Christmas themed. They're just matching socks for all of us. There's 3 of us plus the dog. So I do them in double knit wool because that way they're going to be finishable. I think I finished this sock in November. Maybe I finished it in December. Either way, I should have been able to, on a normal, everyday kind of Christmas, I should have been able to make 5 more of these. I did not. I've got half an eye on the dog. He's about to break into the neighbour's paddock. So I'm just going to pause you here and then I will come back. So the Christmas socks, not a success this year. What else have I been working on? I have been working on this blanket. Now this blanket is one from a kit, but the kit instructions weren't great for actually making the squares. I am attempting to make the blanket as it looks in the picture now. So I have made 42 of these granny squares. I think this is this the camellia or is this the sunflower? I don't think it's the sunflower. No, I haven't even got it in the box at the moment. I forget which one it is. It might be camellia. Let's just call it a standard flower. So I made 42 of those and that took forever. I have not gone any further than that because now I'm up to stitching them all together. And I know that when I stitch them all together, it's still not going to be a big blanket, even with 42 squares. So I'm trying to work out, do I waste more time making more squares, or do I just stitch it together and make it as is, and then work out what to do with what will be a really tiny blanket? So there's that. I'm up to the stitching it together, which I always tell myself that making the squares is the hardest part, but I know that that's not true because when I was working on the farmyard blanket, it didn't take me as long to do the squares as it took to actually sew it up, then down in all the ends and do all the edges around the whole thing. So there's a lot of work to go on this, but as soon as I finished the 42 squares, I didn't sit down and stitch them all together. So that's where I'm up to on that one. Then I had my Christmas Advent project, which I went for, I went backwards and forwards about what I wanted to do for my Christmas Advent, because for the last few years I have been doing the Hobie one. I've done the Hobie crochet one, I've done the Hobie knit one. Last year I had a tendon injury in my arm, which I can feel it's still on a daily basis, that it still twinges and it hurts every now and again. So I do have to be careful with how much knitting and crochet I do and the tension that I use. So I was wanting to get the Hobie amigurumi one. Since then I've seen the reviews and I'm very pleased that I didn't get the Hobie amigurumi one, because it would have been a lot of really fine stitching. It would have taken a long time, and looking at the number of issues that people had, probably fine. And the main reason why I didn't get it when it first came out is that Hobie stopped shipping to the Southern Hemisphere. There is now a way around it. I signed up for a UShip account with NZ Post, and that means that I now can order from overseas and have it sent to either an American or a British address. That's basically just a postal service to send it back on to me. It costs an arm and a leg compared to the cost of shipping regularly. But it would have got it to me. But by the time I did that, it was sold out of the amigurumi one and the knit one. I was more interested in the knit one than the amigurumi one, to be honest. The crochet one was left, but I was not interested in the projects that were in the crochet one. I wasn't really interested in any of the projects except the amigurumi, but yeah. So in the end, I didn't go for the Roxy Fibers one like I did last year as well. I went for Prosper Yarns, which was a merino hand-dyed yarn. So it was on the more spendy end of Advent projects, but it was called Field Notes in a Southern Land, which I thought, okay, I really like the field notebooks. I know where I can get a field notebook. I really like the idea of journaling the progress, and I thought I was going to have more time to actually do the journaling of the progress. I have started it well. It looks cute at the beginning. I've got spaces where I can print out the pictures that I took at different times. And then where are we up to now? We're up to the point where I have, day 15 was the last time I filled it in with the green yarn. I've got these two glued in. I've got these ones, and you may notice that there's some missing here because I've used my yarns out of order. And then I've misplaced my washi tape, so the booklet isn't up to date. This is day... I've got 4... This is... Don't... Just ignore him. There are 3 more mini skeins after this one. The mini skeins have been longer than anticipated, which is nice, but it did mean that because I was between sizes on the jumper, I chose the Ursina jumper because I wanted a top-down raglan, because the description of the pattern was that, well, the description of the yarn advent was that it was going to be tones that were going to blend into one another. So I thought, okay, if I do a top-down raglan, all the tones are going to blend and it will be seamless. And it will be cool where the colour changes happen. So it has worked out to be quite nice in that respect. I don't like this pale green shade. I do like these blue shades. I don't have a problem with the fact that it's going to be now blue at the bottom, because what ended up happening is, anyone who was here for the ride, we opened up so many gold and brown shades. It was hilarious. I kept expecting to... I expected somewhere around, where's this other colour that around here, the browns get greeny, and I thought, okay, we're going to head into a forest green at that point. We didn't. We kept going more gold to get to a pale green. When I got to the pale green, That was the suggested length of the jumper in the pattern. So at that point I jumped onto the sleeves, which put one green ball on each side. Now these greens are the same. They're the same greens. We had this a couple of times. These golds in the middle, I think they're ones that were very, very similar, or if not the same. There's two colours up here that are very, very similar, if not the same. And then the greens, which meant that basically there are some larger splotches, for lack of a better description. However, I'm reasonably happy with how it's come out. It is still on the smaller side, because if you've been here for the whole year, you'll know that I've been out of action for 6 months with concussion, which has meant that I have been inactive and I've put on so much weight. It's quite ridiculous. So when it came to being between the two sizes, I opted to go size down in the hope that I will lose weight again after painting this house, and also by getting moving again, like getting out of bed rest. Because even when I first got back to work, I was going to work for either 2 to 3 hours a day, and then I was coming home and sleeping for 3 to 4 hours, you know, so and then I'd get up, make dinner and go back to bed. So it was a rough time. But yeah, so we're through that now, fortunately. But because I was between sizes and finding a project that was going to work with the amount of yarn that was in the advent was a little bit touch and go. I ordered an extra skein of just a neutral grey shade anyway, knowing that that would be what I would use for the cuffs. And that should leave me with enough yarn for the jumper if I sized down. If I sized up, it was going to be, I didn't know if I was going to make it. However, there's now so much yarn left over. These mini skeins weren't more like 20, 25 grams. I think they were more like 30 grams of yarn, if not a little bit more. So there's quite a lot of yarn in each of the little balls. So I actually really could have sized up and gone with the bigger size. And if I had gone with the bigger size, it would have fit me now. But because it's merino wool, it's not the end of the world if it ends up being one that gets worn against the skin, because it's very, very soft. I don't want to put it on right now because I've got it on shorter cables than it needs to be, but I can put it on one arm in that, see, it fits. It's just snug, and like I don't actually have a problem with a snug jumper. Let's see if I can. No, I'm just going to lose all my stitches if I try and put that over my head. So it fits and it's snug. I do like the details of this slip stitch pattern down the sleeve. So it fits and it's snug. So when we get to autumn, I will be able to just wear it with, say, a tank top underneath or just a bra underneath, and I will be good to go. It'll be great. And if I lose a significant amount of weight, I will still be able to wear it with more underneath it. Maybe like a little, what do you call it? Pop collar? No. Some sort of collared moment underneath. And it's going to end up being quite long, which does mean I'll be able to pull it over my butt. And I do have plain black pants, because I bought plain black pants for all the times that I'm working front of house or for an event where it kind of makes more sense to be in a more neutral shade than I normally wear. So I have plain black pants, which means that it would work with the ridiculous shades here, because there's no way that I own any of these brown tones. It's a good excuse to buy purple pants, I suppose. So that could work. I don't wear jeans because I've got to the point in my life that I would only like to be comfortable. So that's where we're up to on this. I am still hoping to finish it in time for New Year's. I know that I'm absolutely making stuff up at that point, because while I am not filming this on the last day of December, I am filming it on the second to last day of December. There's no way I'm going to finish all of the skeins and the ribbing, because I'm notoriously slow at ribbing. So it's not going to happen. it'll be continued in January, and it should be finished in January. So there's that. That is literally everything I have knit and crochet in the month of December. Right, we're jumping in here because I completely forgot about one other thing that I've been working on through the month of December. It's in this project bag that Annie made. It's made out of, this is just, oh, there's a bit of yarn. This is just scrap yarn from a pair of socks that I made in September. I am still working on this because I keep not having enough time to work on this in December. But this is one of those, there's the Apple phone holder that went viral. Is it Izzy Miyake or... Either way, it's a designer. And when I figured out how to do the pattern, and these are 2.5 millimeter needles, I thought, right, I'm going to make myself one of those. But I really only work on it when I'm selling eggs at the market. So we're this far through. I'm about to split and then rejoin again. So this one is still not done. I will hopefully have it finished in January, and then we're all going to be able to feast our eyes and laugh hysterically at this project when I finally get it done. My next plans obviously are going to be, let's finish this blanket, let's finish our Advent project, and let's make these socks here, because if nothing else, if I finish them all, they can be Valentine's socks. Because I feel like it's going to take that long in order to make that many socks. So if you'd like to see what I managed to catch up to and get up to in January, follow along. If you want to know what's happening in what happened in 2025 and what my plans are for 2026, there's also those videos. But mostly the plan is that I'm still on school holidays because I'm a teacher, and hopefully in the next month will we finish the house. That really is pushing it. But we might be finished enough to have, as soon as the electricity and the plumbing is in, we'll be in. So hopefully, end of January, that is absolutely pushing it on the outside. But February, we should be moved in. It's been a long process. There will be a build video at the very end that I'll put up, and we'll go from turning the first soil right up to now. Well, right up to when we move in. And there'll be another video based on my concussion as well, because I tried to document some of that. So we'll see how that goes as well. So if you're interested in those two things, they're going to be appearing at some point in 2026. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I will see you next week. Bye.